like this is a different world altogether. I was amazed at the beauty of Lagos. You may think Lagos is not beautiful, but for a small girl like me coming from Benin, Lagos is like Obodo Ibo. Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer, and to all of you that keep coming back, hello and welcome back. Quick reminder, if you've never subscribed, just to quickly remind you to click that red button there that says subscribe, and after that click the bell sign. That's where you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. If you're watching this video and you haven't watched part 1, I would advise you to go watch part 1 and then watch part 2 later, so that you understand what this video is about, because I'm not going to go back talking about what happened in part 1. For those of you that have already watched the part 1 and you've been waiting for part 2, I'm just quickly going to apologize and say I didn't expect the amount of reaction that I got from that video. How people find, you know, my life story so amazing. A lot of people were actually really blown away about the story, and I thought to myself, I think it's about time I actually start adding some receipts. I don't want it to sound like this fairy tale, like, you know, I wanted to actually put some pictures that I can maybe, some pictures to show you some of the stories that I've talked about, you know, some of the things that I've shared about in that part 1. And to get to these pictures, I had to go get my box of old pictures. I'm talking of pictures that are 20+ years old. So I have like a box of old pictures, and going through them was not that easy, you know, so that is why it took me this long. And so when I looked, I'm going to try and talk fast, because I think if I'm not careful, this video is going to be too long, because the story may be too long. So first thing, I found the picture of when I got my surgery done. I told you guys that I got my appendix removed, so I found the picture of when I was in hospital that I got my appendix removed. I found the picture of when I told you guys about when I was in front in the choir. I found the picture of when I was in front in the choir. I will try and blur everybody out, because like I said, I'm not making this video to put anybody down, you know, or put that pastor down, whatever. Like I said, I don't know what life he has now, you know. It's possible he's repented from what he was before and he's a different man today. So I don't want people to think I'm trying to put him down, but like I said, if I don't share that part of the story won't be complete. So that's why I share it. I saw a fan picture of my matriculation when I went into Bible college. Then I found my graduation picture, which is the last picture of when I graduated from Bible college. And I found a picture of when I did my practical. In Bible college, I had to go and be under a pastor for a particular length of time, which is my internship. I went for my internship in Asaba. Just my old pictures of this village in Asaba is just there by River Niger. I found some of these old pictures, so I thought I was just going to insert some of these pictures just to, you know, show you guys. When I stopped in part 1, I talked about, I think I got to where I talked about going to Lagos and meeting this guy and finding out that he was this guy. I stayed 2 days in Lagos. Here I was, a girl from Benin. Benin is a very quiet city, comparison to Lagos. Lagos is a mega city. When I was little, we lived in Lagos, but after we left and moved to Benin, I had not been to Lagos. I remember coming to Lagos only once. I didn't really get to see Lagos. I just came for like 2 days and left. So this time around, you know, with this guy, he took me around Lagos, and I was amazed at Lagos. I was like he took me out, like he would be like he went to work through the day, and during the night time he took me around Lagos. But like I said in that video, it was a different life for me, like coming from starving and, you know, living in this, having nothing, to meeting this guy, and here I am, and he's there, and he's buying suya, and he's asking me, how much suya do you want? Like, it's not like, you know, how much suya do you want? I'm like, it's not maybe this. Like, I was like, honestly, I was like, whoa. One night, I remember one night, you know, he took me out. I can't remember where he took me to, but I was more amazed at the night lights. I grew up, I wasn't used to going out at night. You know, this was like 9 at night, and I was shocked as how lit up Lagos was compared to Benin. Like, I was amazed at the, you know, the streets. This is the island, you know, VI and Ikoyi and all these places. To me, that was like going abroad. Like, I was like, whoa, like this is a different world altogether. I was amazed at the beauty of Lagos. You may think Lagos is not beautiful, but for a small girl like me coming from Benin, Lagos is like Obodo Ibo. I was looking at all the flyovers. And then he took me to Ogun State, and he took me to Olumo Rocks. He paid me so much attention. He made me feel so important. He was just kind of like, you know, he made me feel like I was this special, precious, you know, individual. Just the way he kind of like showed me to friends, and, you know, and he would be like, oh, my friend said you're beautiful. Oh, my friend said you're beautiful. I stayed about 2 days, but in these 2 days, he had shown me around so much. You know, I was just, you know, I was blown away at coming from starving to this. It's a massive, let's be honest, like honestly, it's a massive jump from poverty and struggling to boom, all the way, you know, all the way here. A house with air condition and, you know, nice food and everything. And I remember the day I was going back to Benin, because he came into the bus with me because the bus was not yet full. He sat with me and chatted away. He was fun. He was such a lively individual. He likes me. I was saying to myself, this guy really likes me. Like, he really does care about me. He really makes me feel special. When it was time to go, this guy gave me the biggest amount of money I've ever seen in my life. I went back to Benin and I was telling my friend, oh my God, blah. My friend was like, what? To be honest, like I said in that video, that was how my life changed. Long story short, what then happened was that, you know, a lot of you would have known that Ibrahim Abacha died in a plane crash. He would have actually died as well, because Ibrahim Abacha traveled with a group of friends, and he told me he was supposed to travel with them, but he didn't travel with them because he had a contract, because it was all their group of friends that traveled together in that flight. They were going to Kano. Oh, by the way, I don't think I mentioned that he's from Kano. You know, they were traveling to Kano, but he didn't go because he had the contract. He had the contract he was working on, and he couldn't leave this contract and travel. And because of that, because of the death of Ibrahim Abacha and his group of friends, he has fear of flying. Throughout the time I knew him, anytime he's going to the north, he would go and join the train to the north. I'm talking fast because I don't want this video to be too long, and I feel like there's so much I want to say in the video. So he moved out of Ibrahim Abacha's house. He got his own place. I would come and visit him in Lagos. Something he used to do, he used to get me a breakfast in bed. The first time he did that, I was like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with this. I was like, I've never seen a thing like that before. You know, it's something you see in American movies or stuff like that. You know, for a man to bring you breakfast in bed, it felt amazing, and you just felt so special. This is me that used to stay without food. Now I am the one that this guy was bringing breakfast in bed for. It was just unbelievable. 19-year-old girl left home at the age of 17, and here I was with this nice guy. Honestly, I'm not saying this for any other reason, but the truth, he was handsome. He's serving me. Like, I went from having no food to this handsome, well-to-do guy giving me breakfast in bed. It felt amazing. I'm being 100% honest with you guys. It felt amazing. At the age of 19, he taught me how to drive. I mean, I was somebody else. The only thing then is this: as a Christian, I'd been to Bible college and back. Forget that now, you know, I was taking this step because I was fed up with the born again thing, because I felt like it wasn't working. You know, I'm being honest with you guys. I felt like this born again thing is not working. How can I be born again and have no food? I'm just being honest. I can come here and twist the story and make it sound different. I'm being honest. I gave up. I gave up on being born again. This is honesty. I gave up. God, he was an Hausa guy and he was a Muslim. Even though I was giving up on born again thing, but there is an extent you can go into Christianity that is hard to walk away completely from Christianity. And then he started kind of trying to like introduce me to his faith. I remember one day his mom came from Kano, and the mom landed at the airport, and we're going to collect her. We got off the car and he looked at me and said, I wish you would convert to Islam. Even though at this point I had backslided and everything, I couldn't convert. Long story short, that relationship changed my life. That was how I learned to drive at the age of 19, and I saw money that I'd never seen in my whole life. And I remember my 20th birthday, you know, I've been telling everybody that he's gonna come, and I remember on my birthday I was saying, oh my goodness, what if he doesn't come? I was really panicking. Oh, a lot of my friends wanted to see him because they had not seen him. You know, all my friends hear about him. Everybody knew him, but they had not seen him. I used to go to Lagos all the time, so it was my birthday, and I was expecting him to come. And then on the day before my birthday, there I was saying, oh, I don't think he's gonna come. He was such a lovable guy. Nobody that met him that didn't like him. He was such a down-to-earth guy. I had a beautiful birthday party I would never forget, and that was my first ever birthday party that I know of, apart from when I was 1 year old. I don't have a picture of that, you know. So my house growing up, we didn't celebrate every single year of your life. They celebrate your first birthday and that's it. So I had a big party. I was very happy. A lot of people were in shock. They were like, how is he a Hausa man? He doesn't look like a Hausa man, and he doesn't even talk like an Hausa man. He speaks like without an accent. You know, he does the accent sometimes to make people laugh, but normally he doesn't have the accent. He just talks very regular. I have the picture, actually I will insert the picture here. That's him in this picture wearing a suit, and that's me there, green and navy blue dress there. This is like 21 years ago. I was 20 then, so now I'm 41. Back to the pastor guy. I'm going to talk about, like I said, I'm not saying this to put him down, but I'm just going to say that what happened. That church, everything just got, I don't know what happened to that church. I don't know, some people say there was a fight. I think some people disagree about how church funds were spent. You see, I didn't go to the church anymore, so I didn't even know what was happening. But this is the rumor I heard, that people were, deacon got angry about how the finances of the church were going, and some things happened, and there was big fight. And sorry to say, but this pastor, I'm going to say this, like I said, I'm going to share this part of the story, because if I don't share it, then I'm not sharing the full story. His life changed. He dropped from high up where he was, and he dropped down. And then my own life changed. My life was up there, like up there. I remember the few times when I crossed paths with him where he begged me for money. And I gave him money because I had so much money. I had so much money. And people that know me know that if I have, I will give. At this time, Marwa was still the governor of Lagos State. And then my Hausa guy, listen to this part of the story. This part of the story is going to lead to how I ended up here where I am today. Okay. Now, that time Marwa was the governor of Lagos State, and he knew them. He knew them one-on-one. He suggested this, do a jingle for Marwa's wives. She used to do this in Lagos. She had this, whatever, you know, the way the governor's wife always have their own whatever foundation or whatever they call it, and it was called the family something. I think Marwa's wife program was called like a family support program or something like that. Family support program. And he suggested create a jingle. You know, jingle is like a small commercial for Lagos State Governor's Wives program, whatever it's called. He will present it to her so she can pay for it. So many things happen. To be honest, I do not think that relationship was ever going to be a marriage, because, you know, I wasn't going to convert to Islam. But long story short, that relationship ended. So even after it ended, I still went and did that song for this program, and then I went then to Lagos State Alausa Secretariat to go and submit it to the, what do you call it, governor's office. I think the office was closed or whatever. On my way home, I went into this public transport, and the guy sitting by my side was just kind of like chatting up with me. It was just chatting with me, this Yoruba guy, and he's the lawyer. We just started talking, and in the process then he kind of asked me what I came to do there, and he told me he works there at Alausa Secretariat, Ministry of Justice. And then he asked me what I came to do, and I told him. He was like, wow. He said, how old are you? I was like, I'm 21. He was like, wow. Like, he was like, you're very matured, like you're only 21 and you're, you know, boldly coming to the governor's office to go and submit something, blah blah blah. And he said to me, you know what, I'm a lawyer. He said, I can help you process the whole thing and submit it more officially, like get the legal whatever you have to do and submit it. I said, fine, listen to this part. And we submitted this. I was living with my sister, but I wanted to get my own place. My sister used to tell me to just go back to Benin, and I didn't want to go back to Benin. While we were waiting to hear back and everything, that day I was telling him I'm trying to get my own place and everything, and he told me, oh, I know this lady. And I saw her the other day, and she told me where she lives. And he said, as far as I know, there are some vacancies there if you want. And I said, oh yeah, fine. Then he took me there and introduced me to the landlady. And the landlady rented the place to me. So, but that lady that he knows, myself and that lady became friends. Meanwhile, I got a job at, what do you call it, Akpombo. How do you call it? I got a job in Lagos selling like canned drinks and stuff like that. What is that place called? Akpombo. I can't say it. You know, in Lagos, those of you that know Lagos will know this place. I was working as a sales girl, and I was selling canned drinks, and I was working for this guy, getting my salary, paying my rent and everything. So, but this other lady that the guy told me he knows that rented the place there, she just became very friendly. She was so friendly. And I was going to my job every single day, coming back at the end of the day. So one day she said to me, there's this place I go all the time. She goes there, there's a library there. She goes there to go use the library, but at the same time she gets minor contracts. They give her like contracts to get a gardener to clear up the place, and they give her like mini contracts like that, like small contract, like you know, get these people to empty out sewage and stuff like that. She get this kind of mini contract, and she said, one day will you come with me? I said, oh yeah, fine. So one day she was going, she took me along with her. As we were leaving the place, this guy was walking past, and we walked past this guy, and the guy called my friend, and my friend went to him. Long story short, she went to him. we went to him, came back to me, and we left. But she told me that guy just asked her about me, and he told her to bring me back some other time. And I was like, no, I'm not going. She was like, come on. She was like, oh, you know, she said, I already promised him I'm going to bring you back. And she was like, do it for me, please. I already promised him that I'm going to bring you back. And she said, you know, he's going to take us out for lunch. She was like, I don't want to miss lunch, because she knows the place is going to take us for lunch. And she said, the food there is very good. I don't want to miss that lunch. Oh, please just do it for me, blah, blah. I know, whatever. And I said, okay. And then we came back. Long story short, went the next day and we went to have this meal. And that guy is the Yoruba man that I ended up with, that I was with for 16 years. Yeah, that's it. That was how I met him. When we started the relationship, my family said, no way, you're not having anything to do with Yoruba man. His family said, no way. My father said, over his dead body, it's not going to happen. And he told me, his father said, over his dead body. His father told him, you can marry any woman in the world, but you're not going to marry an Igbo woman. And my father said, no, no, you're not going to. Eventually then, the plan then was, let's get out of this country and go start our life afresh abroad. At the end of the day, that's how I ended up where I am today. What I wanted to bring out from this is how sometimes we don't know where God is sending us to. You don't know what's going to happen to you the next minute. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know where you're going. Till date, I still have my struggles or whatever. But I'm going to be honest and say, these are the stories that led to where I am today. I've been to hell and back, even in Europe. But at the end of the day, if I have to tell my story of how I ended up here, I have to start from this. Listen to this part, guys. Listen to this part. It started from the pastor guy that frustrated me out of church. I left the church that evening during choir practice. And I was walking home. This Hausa guy picked me up, okay, gave me a lift, and told me, whenever you come to Lagos, come and say hello. I ended up in Lagos. This Hausa guy is the one that suggested that advert, to sing that song, the advert. Even though when he was out of the picture, I still went ahead. If he didn't suggest it, I wouldn't have gone to Alausa Secretariat. I was leaving Alausa Secretariat, and I got into a bus, and this Yoruba man that was sitting by my side, it was through him that I got that accommodation. That lady, I met that lady that took me to that office on that day, in that place that I rented. This lady took me to that office. That office was where I met the father of my children. And that my father of my children and my parents refusing and his parents refusing was how we decided to leave Nigeria to go start afresh abroad. From the pastor, I was on the street, picked up by the house man. House man suggested a song. I went and did the song. And then on my way, I went to that office in Alausa Secretariat. Coming out of Alausa Secretariat, I met this Yoruba man. Suggested this place to rent. Through this Yoruba man was where I met this lady that took me to the office where I met the father of my children. And then we faced resistance that made us want to leave Nigeria to go and start our life afresh. You can't tell me as a Christian, you can't tell me that God didn't know where I was going to end up. You can't tell me that it was surprising to God. No, I believe in my heart. I believe in my heart. God, you know, I don't know. Somebody may be like, why didn't God make it straightforward? You know, sometimes when you're facing an obstacle, you don't know where it's going to lead you. You don't know. Even like I said in that video, when God has put his name on you, you may be going the wrong direction, living a life of sin and doing all these things that God does not approve. But when God says you are mine, he will close every single door until you get where he wants you to be. I'm not coming here to say I live abroad, my life is perfect. I still have struggles till today. And let me tell you, my life is not perfect, but it is a million times better than the life of that girl in Benin that had no food. Think about how that young teenager in Benin ended up to where I am right now. Think about the steps. Think about how all those steps eventually brought me to where I am right now. I am not hungry. When I look back at where I'm coming from, I look up and I say, thank you, Lord. The main thing I want to bring out of this story is this. How sometimes somebody may think they're frustrating you, but they do not know that every single stumbling block they're putting in your path, God is making it a stepping stone to where you are going. This is my life today. I don't know what tomorrow is. I don't know what plans God has for my life. One thing I know for sure is that the Bible says, Jeremiah 29:11, I know the thoughts that I have towards you, says the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. To give you an expected end. There are so many things in my life that have never gone as I planned. But God knows my heart, that I've done my best in everything that I can do in my life. I'm not coming here to say that I'm perfect. But the thing is, sometimes there can be something you're working so hard on and you're giving it everything. But God says that's not what he wants for your life. Till date, sometimes I still wonder, God, what's next? What do you want to do with my life? Like I said in part 1 of this video, the main reason why I share this story with you guys is just to give people that faith. You know, that if my video can build one person's faith, I'm happy. That faith. I know sometimes it's like God is not answering. There are times when you feel like God is not answering. But in my case, I can say that every single stumbling block became a stepping stone. And I believe in my heart that every single step from the pastor to where I ended up today, God kept on turning things around for my good. That day when that pastor frustrated me out of church, he did what he did, but God turned it all around. And all these steps eventually led to where I am today. And like I said in part 1, I'm sharing this to show you guys, how some people may want to do something to harm you, but they actually end up pushing you into your blessings. Some people try to frustrate you, but they're frustrating you into your destiny. I have said it before. There's been times in my life when I've given up on this born again thing, and I just be like, I'm done. Like, honestly, because I have been through a lot. I'd be like, I'm done. It's not working. Why am I suffering? Why am I struggling like this? But I can say that God has been good to me. When that pastor frustrated me out of that church, he had no clue that he was starting off something that would take me to where I am today. I just wanted to share that, and hopefully it builds somebody's faith. When I share a lot of my stories, I hope people can learn something from it, or gain something from my stories. It takes a lot to come out here and share your story, but I keep saying, if my story blesses one person, I'm happy. If you're watching this, I really hope this motivates you, and just to have the faith that sometimes the struggles you're going through and all the obstacles and stumbling blocks can actually be the stepping stones that God wants to use to get you to where he wants you to be. And with that, I'm just going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.
It's goodbye, friends, and goodbye, folks.